Maybe I'm crazy, but I did not go out late during the week in Miami. I feel like it's important for me to say that.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.
Welcome to Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. I don't have a voice. I apologize. I sound like but I've had a cold for 2 weeks. No, it's not because of Miami.
From all that going out you did?
I mean, Miami didn't help, but I have not had a voice and I've been sick for 2 weeks. So that's really what this is all about. But I've had a great time in Miami last week. I hope you checked out the interview I did with my brother from South Beach from our setup there. It was a great time. It was awesome to have him on. Today we're going to have Uncle Jimmy from Speak for Yourself. He is from the DOT. He is from KCK. He's very excited about his Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, as I'm sure everyone in Kansas City is excited about it.
Both on the Kansas and Missouri sides.
Both sides, yes. Trump needs a map, yes. Also facts. President of the United States doesn't know where the city of Kansas City is.
Would a map help, though?
The city of fountains. No, it would not. I mean, he's in real estate, so maybe he can read a map. No. Anyway, that happens. That was embarrassing. So we're going to have Jimmy on. He's great. And we're going to talk Super Bowl with him. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes, KYLE Shanahan, DAK Prescott's contract negotiations are coming up, Jimmy G, Tom Brady. The NBA is starting to turn up some of the drama a little bit. And, of course, more stuff from the Super Bowl. Also, I will say, because we didn't talk about it during the podcast, the commercials for the Super Bowl were great. I love the Little Nas X Doritos commercial. I bought Doritos yesterday because of that. We didn't have Cool Ranch, but I got the.
You bought some anyway?
I got the nacho. What's
nacho cheese or spicier nacho?
What's the red one?
That's just nacho cheese.
Nacho, yeah, I got nacho.
Yeah.
Still, it's delicious. I love that the coating. You ever see people lick Doritos and then put them back?
I'm so glad we're going here. They're called flavor crystals. I don't know if that's what they're actually called technically, but it's something I decided in my youth.
I mean, they probably are literal flavor crystals.
And
why they're not great for you.
Do you, when you're pulling it out of the bag, assess which side has more flavor crystals and go tongue side down with that one?
I don't go tongue side down, but I do assess how it's going to fit in my mouth as to not get the flavor crystals all over myself.
Good call.
And also, if you make the wrong choice, you can scrape your mouth in a certain space, which then doesn't make the whole eating thing as pleasurable.
Yeah, the crystals can hurt if you've got an open wound, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I really enjoy them. And I also thought the Cheeto, speaking of that, the Cheeto commercial was very funny too. Can't touch this. Because that's true. I got the Cheetos.
Got the Cheeto fingers, yeah.
The Cheeto fingers. I like that one. I love the little kids running into the stadium. That was so cute. I love the Jason Momoa one. Hilarious. Plus Lisa Bonet, hello. That one was actually when he took his head off, when he took his hair off, that was it's hilarious. But they had great commercials. So overall, the whole production was great. Had a great time in Miami. Went out over the weekends, saw some things. I'm not a gossip columnist, or I would share.
People were doing the most out there?
People were doing the most.
Three much?
A lot. There was a lot happening. I'm not going to share because I'm not going to violate the party code, but things happened. Anyway, it was a great time. I really enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast and the Super Bowl, which was a great game. But let's get started with Uncle Jimmy. All right. Very, very big, important day on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. We have Uncle Jimmy from Speak for Yourself. In the house.
Yep.
On the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Thank you for coming on.
You are more than welcome.
I know you're living your best life right now.
Living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with you. Huh? I can say that, right?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Better than you. All right.
I mean, we can. But Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl world champions after 50 years. You are from KCK, the DOT. How are you feeling right now? Because I've never had the closest experience I've ever had to the Super Bowl. Obviously, other than the Steelers winning, which is great, but I obviously would felt more personally if my brother won.
Right.
And he went to the AFC Championship game and then lost.
But he was in Miami too, though.
Yes, I mean,
it
was with the Jets when he went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. The Jets. Let's keep it in perspective.
Yes, I'm aware. It's Jets in Miami. But how are you feeling? What is that feeling like?
that's it. You walk in the room and you just. It's kind of like how you was doing Miami all week.
Okay, I understand. Yeah,
I saw you when you walked in the room a few times.
That was exactly how I did the absolute most in Miami, and I have no regrets. What's the reaction? I'm sure you talked to a bunch of people from Kansas City. What's everybody like? Is everyone just freaking out? Is it like partying? Is it just like happiness? What's going on?
Well, you have to understand that, like, when I left Kansas City, I was more, Kansas City wasn't that great. So I left Kansas City talking about, boy, y'all, I tell you what, boy, if Kansas City win the Super Bowl, I made a few bets that some people going to try to hold me to. I got some big women told, you told me that if they won, you was going to.
Well, I mean, I think for
you going to eat me like a neck bone. Well, you said I could say it.
Well, I'm not going to say what I was about to say before you said that, because I was about to say you should probably pay those bets for karma purposes.
Did you see some women chasing me out of Miami, Joy?
I did not, but okay. I believe you. How was Miami for you? Let's just segue real quick and we'll get back to the Super Bowl.
Okay, we'll go back to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It was great.
Was that your first time in Miami?
Yes, that was my first time in Miami. That wasn't my first time hanging out with big women, but it was big time in Miami.
Okay, so what did you think of my city?
It was cool. I didn't like the fact of when I would walk up to I saw a black dude and I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? And he'd be like, what a good boy. And I realized
it's a very cultural
city.
I
realized that there's some different type of brothers going through, Then everybody would come up to me like, what country are you from? Bro, I'm from Kansas, man. Get on up out of here, man. What's wrong with you? Got a little insulting a little bit.
No, Miami's a very cultural city. There's people from all over the world there. I mean, Miami is also, there's some real ones in Miami too. We were on
beautiful people.
We were on South Beach.
Beautiful
so there was
people
a lot of transient people, a lot of visitors, obviously, because it's the Super Bowl. But I had a great time, obviously.
I had a great time,
and I'm glad you had a good time too. Did you eat anywhere cool?
Yeah. They the little restaurant that they had. Not the one that y'all was eating at. I had to eat at the one that was below that, right in the basement. I couldn't afford that one y'all was in.
What one was y'all in?
The hotel that you all were in. I
didn't eat at the hotel.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was staying at up under it. I was kind of like the Clippers.
Oh.
I stayed.
Okay, yeah, no. I mean, I didn't eat, not like because I'm too fancy for the hotel. I just, I had stuff
Joy,
to do.
you was kind of fancy. Come on.
I mean, look,
man.
I'm a fancy
Come on,
person,
man.
clearly, obviously.
I mean, for anybody that saw you.
Miami is different, okay? So let me explain, because everyone keeps talking about this like it's that thing. I lived in Miami for 10 years. I went to college there. So, like, I don't dress like this in Miami because this is not how.
You did not dress anything like that in Miami.
Also, look. No offense to all my friends in LA, but like there's been many joys. And y'all only know LA joy. So you got y'all got a little version, a little spice of Miami joy. And then there's Pittsburgh joy also. So there's and y'all really don't know Pittsburgh joy like that.
Wait a minute, she gave them. She gave them.
So there's a lot. There's levels to my
this
evolution.
Stuff.
Yes. And
to this stuff.
Not that I need to be different. It's always me. But I'm saying there's a different energy in each place, and I know that place, so that's what I gave y'all.
Hey, and I
hope everyone appreciated it because I had a good time,
Trust me.
and I was gonna do the most. And I'll be honest with you, it was like the best week of my life. It was great to be back there, especially because I started my career in Miami.
Right.
I went to school, as I said, in Miami, so to be there on South Beach in these ridiculous sets, which they did an incredible job. Had my family down there was amazing. So
and the wind was blowing, and you were going.
Yeah, I have no apologies.
You're just doing
I'm apologize. What did McGregor say? I'm gonna take this moment to apologize to no one. But that said, I wasn't partying during the week. I know everyone thinks that. I don't care if they think I do.
No, yeah,
I did an amazing job regardless.
I thought
but
that you looked stunning.
Thank
Every
you.
moment I saw you, you walked in.
Thank you.
It was a glamour shot.
Thank you. Well, I tried, so I'm glad that worked out. And you looked stunning as well. You had some very high level ensembles.
You like that diaper, huh?
That diaper was something.
Yeah.
Was that a hit on South Beach?
Hey, that was it. That was it. Hey, I was, did you see the little video that I had? I was glad to get the little video with me and Kimbo Slice. That was real cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so back to the Super Bowl, since we covered Miami now. You are from KCK. You're from the Dot.
The Dot. Wine Dot.
I spent a significant amount of time in Kansas City, so I got a lot of love for that city, a lot of love for the people there.
Word was you have a pass that cannot be revoked and it shall be upheld.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
word-
appreciate that
word
because I
is-
like Kansas City a lot.
Word is you got a pass, so
Okay.
you're welcome anytime.
I'll take it. But what is that parade gonna be like tomorrow? Because I mean, I'm talking about 50 years, and it's Chiefs fans who are some of the most diehard, maybe the most diehard fans in all of football.
But you got to understand, though, man. Come on, man. This is going to be a good day, except you got a lot of people that don't have a job that's going to be celebrating not having to go to work. How does that work? Man, we ain't got to go to work. You ain't got no damn job. What the hell you mean you ain't got to go to work? It's an excuse to hang out. It's an excuse to get drunk. On the for real, it's going to be crazy. It's something Kansas City has waited for. It's something Kansas City deserves. The fans of Kansas City deserve it. I mean, they put in the work. Andy Reid deserves it. The city deserves it. Arrowhead deserves it. It's going to be amazing, and I wish I could be there.
So I think there might be like 1 million people there. How many people were at the Royals parade?
Black or white?
It's a fair question. Total.
Okay, the total. It was 7 black. And I mean, you said total. I know for a fact there was 7.
But I feel like
There was 7 black at the Royals parade. I think for this one it'll be probably 2,000 or 3,000 white people.
white people. Right. Okay. So, but I still think it's gonna be 1 million people there. It's gonna be
a lot
crazy.
of
There's not
people.
gonna be any.
It's
movement
gonna
in
be a
that
lot of
town at all.
people.
Oh, speaking of white people, hey guys.
Hi, Heather.
Where's one at?
Well, you know the rules. We gotta have one.
Oh, okay.
Just one though. Just one though.
We gotta be diverse.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
But Heller's a real one though.
Yeah, that's
so.
what I'm saying. Reverse affirmative action. It's fine.
Have you ever tried to go get some white advice from Heller and just realized you went and talked to the wrong person? It's just why did I go to talk
Does
to
Heller
you?
give good advice?
From a white person standpoint, no. No, he can't give any
Have you
advice.
asked Heller for white people advice?
Yes. I asked,
what?
here, I'll give you an example. The song that I did Monday in Miami. I'm only one call away. He doesn't know that song.
Oh yeah, no. He's bad for that stuff.
Yeah, he don't.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like,
Okay.
like Heller's a real one, so you can't
Yeah,
do
he
that.
don't.
No.
Yeah, I still don't. Who was that again? That sings that?
What is that?
Charlie Puth.
Charlie Puth.
Puth.
I've heard the name before, but if you had told me he was an actor,
I mean, I know that song.
I'm just learning.
Okay.
Anyway, I injected my whiteness into this to mention that they're expecting snow for this parade.
That
You think
don't
that's
matter.
gonna? That's
Don't
not.
matter.
That's. But I mean, that might level the whole thing up. It might be.
No, it won't matter.
they're
Trust
gonna
me.
show out. It's just
It-
there's
it's
gonna be a
not-
lot of
it- it's-
snowsuits.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah, Kansas City's cold, very cold. I've been in a blizzard in Kansas City before. It was freezing.
Trust me.
That sounds cool.
Was there any point during the game where you were concerned? Because there was no point in that game where I was concerned.
No. Honest to goodness, there was no point in the game when I was concerned. It was destiny. It was written, so it was written, so it shall be. At one point, when I felt a little doubt, I looked up and I saw somebody. It was number 63, and his last name was Garland. When I went to West Middle School, I wore number 63, and I knew a dude named Garland Epps. We called him Bootsy. So I knew it was just written to be.
Was this
You know,
numbers? You saw the numbers?
I saw the numbers. What was Jimmy Garoppolo? It was at 10. It was 10-10 at the half. My birthday's 10. My birthday's March 10th. It was just everything.
it's coming-
Everything
it's
was
coming up soon.
everything was happening. You know, it was just written, man. I told y'all that. I never ever thought for 1 second that it was gonna go any other way.
Well, the Chiefs were my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the season.
They were a sexy pick.
They were. I mean, that wasn't a very edgy pick, but I did pick them. I also picked the Cowboys, but that's old stuff.
That's good. That's good.
What happened with San Francisco to you, though? Like, do you think Kyle Shanahan deserves? Because he's getting some criticism today, and I think it's fair because if you lose a Super Bowl, you do deserve to get criticized for whatever mistakes it is that you made. Maybe it's not all on Kyle Shanahan, but I do feel like there's a little bit like we can't be too, we can't say anything bad.
They are what we thought they were.
So a great team with a
They were a great team with a quarterback. Okay? I mean, what did we say? Defense. why everything. But if it came down to it, player for player, I can't say it, player, pimp. Hey, it wasn't gonna work.
I mean, I think you can actually.
He could not. Bottom line, Jimmy G could not go couldn't go pass for pass with Patrick Mahomes.
You talking about golf?
There you go.
You're right though, because that overthrow to Emmanuel Sanders, Patrick Mahomes makes that throw.
You know, the thing about Patrick Mahomes, honestly, being a fan, and this is something I saw from Patrick that y'all probably didn't realize. Patrick don't really like his team as much as y'all think he does. He doesn't trust his team as much. There's moments that you saw Patrick take a couple of big hits because he didn't he like, look, I'm not gonna throw this ball to you. I'm gonna run, get this first down. After we get this first down, we'll come back and get it together. And he had to do that a couple of times just to get them going. And that's after that, then they get back on track. And that's just what it takes. That's what a leader does.
Well, I felt like I did see that with him. I don't know that necessarily didn't trust his team, but I did feel like he was trying through the first 3 quarters. I felt like he was trying to single-handedly win the game, and in the fourth quarter, he started to spread it around a little more. He trusted Tyreek Hill in that big spot, that big 3rd and 15 with that wasp play. Like that was the game to me. Like that throw to Tyreek Hill on 3rd and 15 changed the whole momentum of the game.
Well, okay, he's a young kid, man. We talk about this guy like he's
24.
He's a kid, man. And the fact of, like somebody said, you're on the biggest stage of your life and you ain't doing too well, but you're like, I got this. And you make the adjustments and you improve and you make the corrections on the fly in front of the world. Instead of saying, I'll wait till next year and, you know. That's kind of how Buffalo Bills, isn't that how they did it? Yeah. They said, we've been here 3 times, 4 times, we'll be back.
I do love Patrick Mahomes' leadership, though, and the one thing that is most impressive to me about Patrick Mahomes is he's a very high-energy player, but he never feels out of control. Like, he rides the ups and downs of a game so perfectly. Like, Tyreek Hill talked about after the game that when they were down 10 points with 7 minutes left, that Mahomes came over to him. Like, he was starting to get emotional. He was starting to, like, doubt.
Right.
And Mahomes came over to him and was like, yo, we need you. Like, don't check out right now. Like, we still got this. We're still in this. And he settled him down. And to me, like, that's kind of the difference. Obviously, we know Patrick Mahomes is more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that he has that X factor that Mahomes has, but that's the difference between a star and a superstar. Like, that little bit of extra greatness is what separates the greatest of all time from a good career. But that intangible to me, I want my quarterback to have energy and to have personality and swag, but not ever lose control of the moment. And to me, Mahomes doesn't do that.
Only thing I have a problem with Patrick Mahomes is when he tries to motivate the team, sometimes it just doesn't come off right because he gets upset like, hey, guys, come on. You've got to get in here, and we've got to win one for the zipper. And it doesn't do it for him. You know what I mean? Come on, you guys are playing like bird poo-poo.
He does not talk like that.
Oh, he really does. Have you listened to him? Banana, 3 spices with a biscuit. 2 spices with a biscuit.
But it works.
It works.
They love him.
They love him. I mean, I'm just saying, if I could change one thing about him, I'd put some bass in his voice.
I mean, we can't.
I would put some bass in his voice. You know what I'm saying?
We can't all have it all.
Come on, Peyton Manning's voice,
except for Beyonce.
Omaha. Patrick Mahomes. Spicy 2-piece and a biscuit to go, please. Doesn't do it.
What team in the AFC? So I mean, obviously Kansas City is considering themselves to be the next dynasty, as I think probably should. I would be doing that. But what team in the AFC scares you the most? That's going to be a problem. I mean, you mentioned Peyton Manning, obviously Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Nobody. You're not scared of the Ravens at all. Okay, that's the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens will deal with them. You know, that. Okay, if you want to say who bothers me, the Ravens, they'll be interesting. What's the dude's name? Watson. He'll be interesting. But scared? Why would I be scared? I was scared before Sunday. I ain't scared no more. What I got to be scared of?
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
No, I agree. Like, you guys are on top of the world. I agree.
If you coming to get some ass, you need to bring some ass. And right now, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people running around here. I'm just saying. Know what you're gonna get into. Coming messing with us in Kansas City.
And KCK.
We about that life, man.
Yeah. Well, that's not who Trump was meaning to tweet to, by the way.
Trump was tweeting out to the dot. That's what
he was doing?
Yeah, he was sending it out to the dot.
Is Trump welcome to the dot?
Trump will get got in the dot. Hey,
You know
someone took my car.
It's the best car. I have the best cars.
It's the best. Stop.
Trump's not welcome in the dot. I love the dot, actually. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate it, having you on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. You were great. Congrats.
Hey.
Congrats to Kansas City
You know.
Chiefs.
My pleasure.
It was a great game. I'm glad it was a great game. That's really what I was rooting for the most.
Listen, we'll do it again next year. Okay? You know, it might be in my city. I'll show you around, show you how we do. Go get some real barbecue.
Gates.
Joe's.
No.
Black people ain't supposed to say that. Joe's is the bomb, bro. I'm telling you. Seriously. It's like you're not supposed to say that a white establishment cooks better barbecue than it's sacrilegious. But
I'm gonna stay out of it. I've had Gates.
Have you had Gates?
I like it.
Have you had Joe's barbecue?
I haven't had Joe's. I've had Gates many times, but not
Okay,
Joe's.
let me put it like this. Joe's has a line that goes around the block every day. End of story.
But Gates has all these different locations.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
I'm
not
just
arguing with
telling
you.
you.
This is, you know.
I'm just telling you, they have all these.
I was saying my opinion.
I'm just telling you personally. Don't tell
Plus,
nobody
I
in
can buy their
Kansas.
sauce. I like
Don't
their
tell
Gates
nobody in
sauce.
Kansas City I said it. Joe's got the best.
Okay, well, this is going to go.
Don't tell them I said it.
Okay.
I'll deny it to them. I'll be like, boy, y'all know that was a holographic. I didn't do that.
You can follow Uncle Jimmy at Uncle Jimmy SFY, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Uncle Jimmy SFY, HNIC, all of that.
Yes. All that. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Uncle.
With it. With it. Quit it.
What?
With it.
We about to turn up in this bitch.
All right. Teller is out today. Donnie stepping up to the plate.
Bam.
What am I winning or quitting today?
Patrick Mahomes backed up his 2018 MVP season with the only thing that can top it: a Super Bowl win, an MVP trophy to culminate the 2019 season. Lamar might be next, but Mahomes is now. Joy, Patrick Mahomes is the new face of the NFL.
With it.
Or quit it.
With it. That face. Well, what was up there? But that face is the new face of the NFL. Now, he kind of sort of was already in that space, but,
Yeah.
you know, we were finally, as I said at the beginning of the season, of the 2019 season, that we're in that space now where we're moving on from the old guard of NFL quarterbacks. Eli Manning's kind of done. He now is done. Phillip Rivers starting to look done. Is now at least done in San Diego.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is, you know, we're all kind of, I think, at this point, sort of humoring what's going on with Tom Brady because we'll get to that later, but it's he's doing a lot. But we're very lucky because the next wave of superstar quarterbacks are not only great at what they do, but they're also revolutionizing the position. And they're swaggy and they're fun and they're humble. Not that I care about them being humble, but that does make them more universally liked.
Right.
How they handle themselves. So Patrick Mahomes absolutely is the face of the NFL. I mean, he won the MVP last year. They didn't get it done off of, D Ford offsides.
Yeah.
They would have been in the Super Bowl last year. So we're really in a great spot moving forward with the quarterbacks that are not only in place now with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. You've got a new wave of guys coming in, Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a Tua, which will be, I don't know if he's going to play this year or not. And, some of the other guys, Baker Mayfield's obviously still going to be
He's
interesting.
on the table. Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, Josh Allen. There's really a great group of guys, but obviously Patrick Mahomes and then, 1A Lamar Jackson
Right.
are just leading the way. And Patrick Mahomes was asked about this after the game if he is the new face of the NFL, which is a setup question. Like, you're not going to say yes.
I mean, you don't know unless you ask. They
Right.
dangle it out there.
I mean, you got to try, I guess. But that Patrick Mahomes isn't going to talk like that. But and he mentioned Lamar Jackson, of course, immediately because Lamar did have an incredible MVP season.
Right.
But he just won the Super Bowl and he won Super Bowl MVP. And however you feel about whether he should have won Super Bowl MVP or not, he did. He won it. So whatever. We're not.
Yeah.
No one's going to remember that Damian Williams had an incredible game, like to the point where they're going to argue about whether he should have been the MVP or not. He just is. He's the quarterback, and that's the way it goes. And quite frankly, he did win that game for them.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that was part of the reason why he didn't have such a great game through the first 3 quarters, because it kind of felt like he was trying to win the game for them. Had a lot of overthrows, was really sporadic. His feet weren't right, but he was clutch when he needed to be. And that's what's exciting about Patrick Mahomes, is that not only does he play with this great energy, he's a great leader, he's completely likable, very intellectual guy, but he also just plays with like great swag and makes it happen. And he has a little bit of, and don't freak out, but he has a little bit of, just a little touch of Jordan in there. Just like I see a little bit, just a tiny little bit.
Okay.
Just a little sprinkle.
A little more than Deshaun or
just like
less,
that.
more or less?
Well, unfortunately, Deshaun plays for the Houston Texans, so it's just
his fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault. I obviously love Deshaun Watson, which I didn't even mention him in this. He's obviously in that group as well. I don't know how Deshaun's career is going to go because, Bill O'Brien is the GM, and
That's weird.
I just don't get it. I don't understand any of it. But I do love Deshaun as well. We're in a great situation moving forward with quarterbacks. And that doesn't always happen when leagues move out of a certain era, which is what it feels like. Not only are we moving out of a certain era because we have these new, young, exciting guys, they play a different style of quarterback and a different style of football. And, it's just like a lot more culture, too, if we're just keeping it all the way 100.
Yeah, it is Black History Month.
It is.
You might as well keep it real.
We might as well. So that's nice also. No, I'm excited about it. That was a great game, which is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I feel amazing about the future of the NFL at that position, and Patrick Mahomes is definitely leading the way.
I feel like the Madden curse is officially dead as well.
Yeah,
with
we
him.
can.
It's
we
over.
can,
Yeah.
Is Drake Hurst still undefeated though?
Yeah, he is unchallenged and undefeated.
Undefeated. But listen, as someone who has broken a curse, it does take a little bit of patience and strategy. Drake's curse only applies to teams he is not traditionally fans of, because obviously we know he's a huge Raptors fan.
Right.
And they won the championship last year, but he's a legit Raptors fan.
It's a hometown team.
Right. It's always the bandwagon situation that becomes the problem.
We figured it out.
What I think Drake should do, if you want my advice, Mr. Drake, you should consider announcing your fandom after the person or team that you're a fan of has won.
But the curse is still in effect, right?
After they win, then, you know what I'm saying? So then you can reverse psychology the curse.
I get it. I got you.
There's just strategy to it.
Okay. I'm just thinking about that upcoming season for that championship team and what Drake's curse would do for them in that sense. But, I mean,
You can see how that's power in that curse. So, but you have to test it out somehow to break it. All right, what's next?
Kyle Shanahan coached the 49ers to a 13-3 record and the top seed in the NFC.
Sure did.
All that success almost made folks forget about that 28-3 lead he gave up to the Patriots in Super Bowl 51 as the Falcons offensive coordinator. Then on Sunday, the Niners were up 20-10 with 7 minutes left in Super Bowl 54. And guess what? It happened again. Joy, Kyle Shanahan is the new NFL meltdown guy of record. Wit it or quit it.
I guess I have to win it. I don't think it's unfair to criticize the team that lost the Super Bowl. So everyone's like, I don't know if it's because it's Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G's got that smile and those teeth. So people don't want to say anything bad about the 49ers. And listen, the 49ers, great football team. They had an amazing season.
Right.
They have nothing to be ashamed of. It came down to 1 or 2 plays, as it usually does in these games, and they didn't come out on top. But that being said, you lost. So we're allowed to be critical of the team that lost, even if we like the team that lost. You didn't do everything right, obviously, or you would have won the game. And that said, you were up 10 with 7 minutes left. So figure it out. That's a lot of points in a Super Bowl to blow.
And your specialty is running the ball and running that clock out.
My opinion about the Super Bowl, unless it's just an utter blowout, and even sometimes then, because teams tend to do this, and I think I said this last week, or not last week, the week before last week was Jason. I feel like the team that loses these games is always the team that either comes in super over emotional or the team that doesn't do what got them there.
Right.
Running the ball, not relying on Jimmy G is what got you there. And I'm not going to be super critical of his play calling. I think it came down to Jimmy G didn't make that throw to Emmanuel Sanders. If he makes that, everything is different. I really don't care about the Kittle push off, which we'll talk about later. But it always comes down to one or two plays. Like Tyreek Hill smoking that safety on that 3rd and 15 with Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's what it comes down to. Those big plays will make the difference in these kind of games. So it's not like their season was a disaster. It's not like it's just some, I mean, it's a failure. Yes, you lost. But because you lost, it's okay for us to be critical of you. And unfortunately for Kyle Shanahan, he's now a part of blowing 2 double-digit leads in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And whether it's Matt Ryan or it's Jimmy Garoppolo, like, oh, you didn't have Tom Brady, you didn't have Patrick Mahomes, like, okay, but he didn't have Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes in the regular season when y'all were talking about how great he was.
Yeah.
So, and he is great. But I'm saying it doesn't work both ways. Like, you have what you have, that's what got you here. And you beat great teams to get you here, and you had a great season. I don't want to all of a sudden hear in the Super Bowl, oh, it's Matt Ryan, oh, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Huh? What does that even mean? That doesn't make sense to me. So, look, they blew a 10-point lead. And I will say, at no point in that game did I feel like Kansas City was out of it. There wasn't a shattering of my confidence until there was 0 time left on the clock that they couldn't come back. But that's what happens when you have a superstar, which is why you can't make those mistakes. And I hated the way they were conservative at the end of the first half. That's so much time. That's so much time. You don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo? What do you mean you don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo? What do you think he's going to do? Throw a pick 6? Get some points on the board. You need every point you can get. Did you not watch the AFC playoffs? Did you not see what Kansas City did?
They like to
no
score.
lead is enough.
Exactly.
You need as many points as you can gobble. This is for real. And Kansas City's defense played great the second half of the season. Like, everyone is lingering on this idea of what Kansas City's defense was last year. They're not the same.
Right. That was just hard to forget. They were so bad last year that taste was still in people's minds and mouths, and they forgot.
Well, they know now.
Yeah.
But, and listen, I thought San Francisco's defense played a great game. I wouldn't not put it on Kansas City's defense. Nick Bosa was probably the best player on the field. But that's Patrick Mahomes. That's that dude. He's never out of it. And you heard what Tyreek Hill said after the game, that they were down 10 points, 7 minutes, and he's tripping and he's losing faith and he's starting to get emotional. And Pat came over and was like, "Yo, we need you. Like, calm down. We're still in this. Let's
leadership.
Go." Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. Like a little, I'm not going crazy, just a little sprinkle, just a little dash.
Just a dash.
Just a dash. Okay, nothing that's really going to taste in the seasoning.
Yeah.
But you mentally know it's there.
Yeah.
Of Jordan, and that's what I liked about this game. But I will say, I don't think it's unfair to criticize Kyle Shanahan. It's okay. Like, we know he's Mike Shanahan's son. Like, it's cool. I just feel like everyone is like so sensitive about, like, nobody's saying Kyle Shanahan can't coach, but he was legitimately a part of 2 Super Bowl double-digit blown leads, and like there's something to that. And I don't want to hear about Jimmy Garoppolo or Matt Ryan. Like, you were cool with Jimmy Garoppolo and Matt Ryan when you were getting there,
right?
So if that's the problem, game plan around that, run the ball. And I also don't want to get like the armchair coach thing where we're like, you got to run the ball this many times, whatever. Like, okay, when you've called one single play in one single NFL game, then you can talk about, or been a part of that and knowing what that means, like having a game plan. Then okay, like we don't know shit about that. Like,
exactly.
we can. It sounds cute. Do I think they should have run the ball more? Yes. Do I know shit about it? No. But I do know they lost, and they ran the ball a lot in the previous 2 games and did not rely on Jimmy Garoppolo against defenses that weren't as good as Kansas City's defense. So that's all. That's just how I feel about that. Like, you want to break it down to anything else, I just feel like don't be conservative at the end of the first half. You need all the points you can get. They're going to be fine. Jimmy Garoppolo is not terrible. Kyle Shanahan is a good coach, but yes, it's fair to be critical of him. And for the time being, until next year, which I think they will be back.
Yeah, their defense is good.
Their defense is good. They're not losing a lot of players.
Nope.
Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be there next year. Kyle Shanahan's going to be there next year. They'll be back. Will they be in the Super Bowl next year? I don't know. Like, there's so many variables in how teams get to Super Bowls. I don't even know if Kansas City's going to be back.
Right.
Well, let's see. Let's wait until next season to make our predictions for that. Obviously, they're going to be great for a long time. We're talking about specifically the Super Bowl, but yeah, they're all gonna. It's all gonna be good. Everyone just calm down, but
Relax.
it's okay to be a little critical of the losing team in the Super Bowl. Hear ye, hear ye. Dak Prescott is being petty, and I'm here for it. So as you know, I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I have been a fan since day one. I'm a day one with Dak Prescott. Remember back in the day when Jerry Jones was trying to take Dak Prescott out and put Tony Romo back in? We lived through that. That happened in our lifetime. What a mistake. So glad that didn't happen. But anyway, they're trying to like not give Dak Prescott a contract now, I guess. And so Dak is now saying, who's always been very good about his contract situation, who said, throughout the season, he doesn't want to talk about his contract. He is just worried about what's going on in the regular season. It'll get sorted out. It's not for him. It's for his agents. It's for the Jones family. He's just going to play football. Well, he's being a little more spicy now. He said that he is not going to be anywhere near the star. He's not going to be working out anywhere near the star. He hopes he doesn't end up with the tag. He doesn't want to be franchise tagged. And of course he shouldn't, because he's been playing on a 4th-round rookie contract, winning all these games and divisions, and being paid basically nothing by NFL quarterback standards. And the excuse in this idea, I've been saying this a million times, so I'm sorry I keep repeating myself, but we're back on this again because it's in the news this week. This idea that he needs to take some sort of discount because the Cowboys need to put the pieces around him that are necessary for him to win a Super Bowl. What the hell have you been doing for the last 4 years? He couldn't be paying for possibly less than he's been playing for the past 4 years, and you've not been able to put the pieces around him to get the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. And they're not losing because of Dak. Now, does Dak have that X factor? Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he Lamar Jackson? Is he Russell Wilson? No. He's probably closer to Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins. And yes, they are in the same category. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo is an all-time great defense. So let's just all calm down on that. Like, I'm not dissing Jimmy Garoppolo. Kirk Cousins did fine this year.
Kyle Shanahan would arguably rather have Kirk
Cousins. Right. That's like in
point.
The rumor mill that he probably would. Yeah. So I'm a big supporter of Dak Prescott getting paid because that notion is silly. And look, you have to pay for your franchise quarterback. This idea that like a franchise quarterback is worth this or worth that. If you want your guy, you're going to have to pay for him. That's just the way that it works. That's how it goes. You want to get married, you got to buy an engagement ring. Unless you found that one cool girl in the world that doesn't want one. Congratulations.
Even so, probably get a ring.
Yeah, you should probably still do it. Okay? Just do it. This is probably a good idea. If then she tells you to return it, then you're in a good spot. But you generally want to do it.
Get that money back.
Yeah,
but
first get it. So the point is, I don't know what the Cowboys' plan is. What's your plan? So you don't pay Dak Prescott. You franchise tag him this year. You franchise tag him next year. Then you transition tag him. Then what? Like, he's always going to be just good enough that you're not going to get a high draft pick. So are you going to try and trade for somebody? Are you going to get someone in free agency? You feel like quarterbacks that are available in free agency are better than Dak Prescott? They're not. He's been a great leader. He's caused you no problems. He's managed to keep you afloat through all of the ups and downs of Zeke, who now seems to be on the right track, but that wasn't always the case. He wrote out the whole Tony Romo bullshit situation perfectly. I don't know what else you want. And that's my point about, like, everyone gets so caught up in the money, like, oh my God, $180 million. Like, yes, that's how much it costs. Like, what's the issue? What is the problem? You need a quarterback. No? Did you remember? Does anyone, I mean, there's no Cowboys fans in here, but does anyone remember when the Cowboys did not have a quarterback? Wasn't pretty. So I just don't know, if you don't pay him, what is the plan? Like, how did that work out for the Washington Redskins? You feel like, I mean, they're going to stick with Dwayne Haskins this year. But okay. Like, do you think you'd rather have, and like, I understand Alex Smith got hurt, but like, would you rather have the situation you're in now, or would you rather have Kirk Cousins? Like, personally, if I'm the Washington Redskins, I would rather have Kirk Cousins. Sorry.
Who models what they do after what the Washington R-words do?
I mean,
this is insane.
I don't know, but that's
insane.
That's what's about to happen.
You know who that contract worked out great for? Kirk Cousins.
Made so much money.
And this is going to work out great for Dak, too.
He made so much money. He made so much money.
Someone's
and then he still got a contract.
Someone's going to pay him. And in the meantime, it's franchise tag, so maybe it helps the cap or whatever, but they're going to pay him $70 million for the next 2 years, stringing him along until someone else actually pays him is ridiculous.
I don't get it. I
think it's fine for Dak though. Like, what?
I mean, because Dak wants a contract and he's earned a contract, and I don't think you should give a hometown discount at all.
Definitely not.
I do not understand what the plan is with if you do that. Like, so you have basically, you're going to pay him a shit ton of money for the next 3 years on these tags. Like, as if you're getting him on a discount on these tags.
You're not.
So after that point in time, then what?
You played yourself.
played as and then like who's your quarterback? Like you need a quarterback.
Maybe Quincy Carter is available or Chad Hutchinson, maybe.
It's very confusing to me. I don't understand it, but I just think you should just give Dak a contract and then load it up in the beginning, and then eventually it won't be the highest. He won't be the highest paid. Actually, literally the moment Patrick Mahomes gets paid, he's not going to be the highest paid, and then so on and so forth. It's how these contracts work. Everyone gets so crazy about the money. It's like you don't. It's not that deep. Like you have to pay your quarterback. It's just a given. All right, Donnie, what we got in high key, low key?
High key, Jimmy G and Patrick Mahomes are super duper handsome. Low key, it is unfair to compare them.
It is unfair to compare them. As it is unfair to compare two beautiful women, it's unfair to compare two handsome men.
That is
because we're all about equality around here.
Mm-hmm.
We still do it, but
human nature.
It is unfair. Look, Jimmy G was not. He was great. He was good. Okay, he was good through the first 3 quarters of the Super Bowl, and Mahomes was not that great during the first 3 quarters of the Super Bowl. But to compare their fourth quarters is silly because they're not the same quarterback. That's the difference between a superstar and a star, and Patrick Mahomes is a superstar and Jimmy G is a star. That's no diss to Jimmy G, but we all have eyeballs.
Yeah, that's all understood.
Right. Like, that's what happens. That's what clutch superstars do. What happened in the fourth quarter. Like, everyone's talking about Jimmy G outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Like, no. Jimmy G just played his game through the first 3 quarters, and then he continued to play his game through the fourth quarter when he should have elevated. Patrick Mahomes was not great through the first 3 quarters, but then he was outstanding. Like, the jump up is like that. It's not fair to compare these two guys. That's what Patrick Mahomes does.
Yeah.
Did anyone else watch the playoffs with the Chiefs this year? Were we the only ones that watched the AFC playoffs?
I mean,
they were down how many points to the Texans? 24?
Whole bunch.
A whole bunch.
Whole bunch of points.
Whole bunch of points. I mean, down to the Titans, not as much as they were to the Texans.
Still
they
alive.
played from behind all throughout the playoffs and came back to win very convincingly, which is exactly what happened in this game. Because that's what they can do.
Yeah.
So, like, people talking about, like, oh, like, Jimmy G, didn't get it done. Like, yeah.
We saw.
Like, we saw. Because that's what Patrick Mahomes does. Like, that overthrow to Emmanuel Sanders, like, Patrick Mahomes makes that because Patrick Mahomes is a superstar. It's more fair to compare the two teams as a whole when you're examining this game. But, like, you can't hold Jimmy G to Patrick Mahomes' standards. That he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Like, that's a fact. That's why Patrick Mahomes is going to make $200 million and Jimmy G makes 130, 120, whatever. Frank Clark is probably need to point that out.
His pockets.
Right, definitely he's in his pockets. Which also, like, whatever you pay your quarterbacks, what you pay your quarterback, which, that's stupid as well. But yeah, I mean, just don't compare them two. They're both handsome. They're both quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is a superstar. Jimmy G is a star.
A star.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
It's just, it is what it is.
No shame in that.
He's more talented. All right, what's next?
High key, Brady is shady. Low key, he's doing it right.
Okay, so, I do like being right. And Brady posted this photograph on his social media Super Bowl week because, he got to be in the mix. He's not in the Super Bowl, so he's just going to take the shine away from everyone else in the Super Bowl, which I don't have a problem with. It was clearly a Super Bowl ad. Like, at first, I won't lie, I was like, yeah, he might be doing that.
With no caption?
No caption. You can't tell if he's coming. Is he going? He's freaking all these Patriots fans out. Maybe he's sending a clear message. And listen, I do still think he was kind of low-key sending a message. Like, I have this power.
Yes.
I have the power to move mountains with a photograph, okay?
He's playing with us.
Yeah, right. But, like, Brady's not going to not make a grip on the Super Bowl, whether he's in it or not. So I said on the herd, this is probably a Super Bowl ad. So I'm going to give myself 99% credit because I didn't go all the way with it. But I was right. It was
You're
a
on
Super Bowl
record.
ad.
Yeah.
Yes. And, I said it on live TV. And, here he is. And then, he's in his turtleneck. He loves turtlenecks.
It looks good.
He loves turtlenecks. You
Turtlenecks
are a
are
big turtleneck.
flattering.
You are
Yeah, I
a
love
big
turtlenecks.
turtleneck guy. Yes. Not everyone can pull off a turtleneck, by the way. You have to have a certain amount of, what am I looking for? What's the thing? Je ne sais quoi?
That was a French word.
Yeah. Which I have no idea what that means, but it sounds very fancy. It sounds like someone who could wear a turtleneck would say. But anyway, he's in a sweater and, he says he's not going anywhere, whatever. Here's the thing. about Brady. He's asking for $30 million. Well, they're said that the Patriots have said they're willing to pay him $30 million. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
This is not the time in your career to all of a sudden be asking for the most amount of money off your worst season, and you didn't make the Super Bowl. I don't get it. He's at the end of his career. None of this makes sense to me. I don't know what it is that he's trying to do. I think he ends up still leaving, regardless of the money. But I just don't. I don't understand what his strategy with all of this is. Like, if you're going to finish your career in New England, go out with the same team. Why wouldn't you put them in the best position moving forward? Like, if you're reaching your final legacy years, put the team that you're with, that you won all these championships with, that you have the greatest legacy run in the history of the NFL with, and put them in a position moving forward that they're successful. You don't want to leave them and they're completely crippled. That's an egotistical thing to do, and people remember that. Because 5 years later, when they're still not making the Super Bowl and you're gone, they're going to be like, yeah. But remember how at the end of his career he took $30 million and they couldn't get any extra pieces, and now our salary cap's all fucked up and we don't have a quarterback. Like, people remember that, even Patriots fans, because you remember Patriots fans were booing him in the playoffs, which is
insane, crazy.
Insane. I mean,
they boo Tommy.
Shame on you.
How do you boo Tommy?
How do you boo Tommy? It's Tommy.
You can't boo Tommy.
It's that guy Tommy.
This is your guy.
Look at Tommy. He's killing that. Yeah. So I don't get the strategy, but I think I'm just gonna sit back and watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
All I know is we don't have that much more time to figure it out, so we're gonna get an answer soon. All right. What's next?
High key, the NBA is about to ramp up. Low key, the Heat will be the story coming out of the East.
Yes. So the Heat are in. They're in the trade rumors, the rumor mill. I think the trade deadline is Thursday. Pretty sure it's Thursday. But they're being mentioned as possible suitors for Andre Iguodala, which I find interesting. I don't know what they're gonna give up for Iguodala, so that kind of concerns me a little bit. But they've been playing great. They whooped on the Sixers. Sorry, John Hill.
They really did.
Last night, blew them out. Sixers, terrible road team. Terrible road team. Our jerseys are awesome this year. I love them. It's a really great. It looks great. Like the arena. I went to the game on Monday night.
Oh yeah.
The Magic game, which is who they also blew out. And the arena looks great. Like the colors are great, and it was a good time. But I will say I do think that the Heat are going to be the story in the East this year, because we all know like Milwaukee is very good. You know, Celtics in the conversation. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it's gonna be the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm gonna say it right now.
Ooh, on record
Heat,
again.
Eastern Conference Finals. Yes.
Okay.
Happening. They're playing great. They play defense, which is not a very common thing in the NBA these days. They play tough. Love that kid, Tyler Hero. Super talented. Great future for him in the league. And of course, we got 2 All-Stars in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. So yeah, I think they're going to be the story in the East this year. Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week. All right, who's some losers this week?
First up, that Kittle pass interference call.
Okay, so I know that 49ers fans are upset. I'm sorry, team. Heller's not here. Sorry also. I know it's a rough Sunday for you guys. But here's the thing. I really don't want to hear any complaining about the refs. This was one of the best refereed games in all the playoffs. Very little calls. I like that. I can't stand when every single drive is being held up by all of these petty, ridiculous calls. They let them play, but it was clearly a push-off. Now, had they not called it, I wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah.
But they did call it, and I'm not upset because it was the right call.
You saw his arm extend, right? And that's the rule.
No, so, I mean, you see his arm extend, and then you see Sorensen fall. It was clearly a push-off. Was it egregious? No. But was it a push-off? Yes. Now, the Heller's mentioning, and then I suppose this is traveling around 49er land, Niner gang, that, you want to be consistent with the call, so they keep bringing up the push-off in the Vikings-Saints game. Different game. That's not even the realm of comparison. Within the same game, if Kelsey has a push-off and they don't call, but they call that one, fair. Complain all you want, but that's not what the hell does that have to do with this game? Nothing. It's
Not at all.
nothing. 0%. What are you just? That makes no sense.
Different
it makes no
refs.
sense. I know you guys are upset, but that you're making no sense. Okay, this is different refs, different settings. This is the Super Bowl. Y'all not in the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
this is not what we're talking about right now. It was clearly a push off. The refs chose to call it. It was the right call. If they had let it go because they were letting them play, I'd have been okay with that too. But it was the right call. And look, you're gonna have to overcome situations like that within a game. The games like this have a lot of ebb and flow, ups and downs. You have to ride the wave. Like, that's why Patrick Mahomes, again, is a superstar, because he never allows the emotions within the game to overwhelm him. And I don't think this was one of those calls that distracted them emotionally, but it was a big call, and it did take some points off the board, potential points. We don't know if they would have scored or not, but obviously we're assuming they would have.
Hypothetical points.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with this, and you shouldn't either, because it was not a bad call. If they hadn't called it, I wouldn't have minded, but it was the right call to make. So, sorry, guys. You didn't lose the Super Bowl because of the George Kittle push-off. Sorry.
Word.
Yeah. Who's next?
Every non-Fox Super Bowl. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to be company man. But listen, I was in Miami for 10 days. I went down on Thursday, spent some time with my family over the weekends, then got down to South Beach. And I got to say, it just, the sets were unbelievable. Like, if you watched any of our shows from South Beach, it just was the top notch. I've never seen anything like it. Like, the setup that we had on South Beach was insane.
Yeah.
The city of Miami did an incredible job. All the restaurants, all the parties, all the events. The traffic was awful, but that's what it is. It's expected. It just, I mean, the traffic was horrendous in Houston too. Like, there's just a ton more people in town. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's the biggest event in the world. So yeah, there's millions of people in town. It's just what it is. And South Beach is small, just for everyone who doesn't know. And we'll get to some other things people don't know about Miami as well in a second. But it was an incredible week, and I mean, it wouldn't have been the same if it wasn't on Fox. Like, the halftime show was huge.
Yeah.
The pregame shows were huge. The stadium looked incredible. The setup on South Beach was unbelievable. It was just, I'm sorry, it's not going to be topped. Just not. I mean, look at that. Like, it's not
perfect.
It's not going to be topped. All right, what's next?
Anybody planning outdoor activities in Miami?
Okay. So I said this many times throughout the year, and it still confuses me. Now, granted, we had incredible weather, so all that setup on South Beach worked because, like, it looked as beautiful as it did because we had incredible weather.
Right.
However, had the weather not been good, we had these amazing devices that come down and protect us within the stage,
Prepared
for the weather, because there's weather.
We're ready
It's
for
the
it.
Weather.
It's Florida.
Okay, it's Florida. It's Miami. Just pick up the phone. Bring hi, friend that lives in Miami. What's the weather like there usually?
Big
around
old
this time
fat
of
rain.
year? Does it rain? Oh, it could rain. Oh, it rains every day. Every day? Every day. Oh, okay, click. We're going to have to figure out some facilities. There were so many concerts canceled because of the rain. It's like, I mean, like, literally Friday night was an utter monsoon.
Oh,
like,
man.
it was like that. Like, it was like, you couldn't, actually, it wasn't this because you couldn't see. It was raining so
so
hard.
even
I was
worse.
completely drenched in my going out outfit. Okay, and just by the way, I did not party all week in Miami. I just want to make this announcement to everyone, because everyone at work keeps coming up to me like, "Oh, somebody had a good time in Miami." Like, yeah, I had a great time in Miami. I also lived there for 10 years. I wasn't out until 4:00 in the morning on Tuesday evening. Like, I have to work.
Yeah.
I actually worked quite a bit, if you haven't noticed.
We all
I
saw.
worked many hours in Miami. I was not out partying every single night. I made up for it on the weekends, but then I didn't have any obligations at that point.
Right.
But yeah, it was pouring down rain, and like, yes, it rains every day in Miami. Every single day, at some part of the city, it is raining. That's how it works in Florida. So for the next time you have a big event in Miami, make sure that you have a backup option. It could possibly, the skies could open at any time, as I imagine it does in most cities, unless it's Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're just blessed here.
We are the only place where it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, it rains. I don't know why that's news. Why is that news?
It's not.
All right, T. What's the T? It's time for the Migos Culture Report.
All right, so the Super Bowl halftime show featured J-Lo and Shakira, who killed it, by the way. What did you think about the performance?
So shiny.
Yeah.
So shiny.
That's my favorite song on Moana.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so shiny. I want to hit your hiney. It's such a low key banger.
Yeah, it's like
I've listened to it many times.
Same.
It's not long enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sidebar. Anyway, it is very shiny, and I loved it. I did not know what to expect. Obviously we knew, J-Lo is going to be very choreographed. She's one of the best stage performers in the world. She's got a, Vegas residency. So I kind of knew what to expect from J-Lo. I just didn't know what the appearances were going to be. We got Bad Bunny and J Balvin.
Yeah.
Which I thought was perfect. I was totally okay with no Pitbull. Pitbull did the pregame show, which kind of probably should have let us on to know he wasn't going to do the halftime show. I know a lot of people wanted to see Pitbull, but I did say, remember the last time we talked, I think it's going to be very pro-women.
Yes.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of male appearances in the halftime show. And there wasn't. They only got those two guys. There had a lot of male dancers, but more, so there you go, in their glitter.
Glitter and abs.
It was glitter knobs, yeah, exactly. Shiny, some sequins.
Yes.
But I thought Shakira, that's how Shakira is. Shakira's very loose and fun. She had a lot of energy. I thought it was cool that she started the show. We also found out that the tongue thing that she did is actually that's actually her father is Lebanese, and that's like a celebration sound sign thing. Everyone thought she was just being crazy. But yeah, I thought it was very cultural. Obviously, a huge, shout out to Puerto Rico, J-Lo with the flag, born in the USA. There's a lot of messages in there. I love that she brought her daughter out.
I did too.
But I also just thought the whole show itself was it felt big. It felt like Olympic opening ceremony big. Like the crazy fireworks. The stadium looked amazing. I just thought they killed it. I thought it was a lot of high energy, and comparing that to last year, which was
yeah,
and the year before, which was who is this? It was Justin Timberlake, and it was fine. Man in the Woods. I don't know where. But anyway, I thought it was amazing. Did you like it?
I loved it. I feel like J-Lo was definitely channeling her inner hustlers.
Oh yeah, no, she brought Ramona out to the
Right,
stage
she did.
for an appearance. Ramona was in the house, so she
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, she did fabulous. And then I think too, with Shakira, we all know that she does this hip thing, but Shakira can actually dance.
Yeah, no, she
she
killed it.
can move. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's not just the hip thing. She can do that and much more.
No, she's an incredible performer.
Yeah,
They both did an amazing job. And I think the overreaction, everyone's very offended by their performance thing is kind of being overblown. I think it was 5 people on Twitter.
Yeah.
But just to those 5 squares, we talked about this also before the halftime show. There's going to be some twerking. There's going to be a little jiggle. Don't let it get you clutching your pearls, because it's going to happen for the rest of us. So this is our cultural experience. No one's offended. For you squares, you're obviously going to be offended. And yes, you are a square. Also, I don't want to hear about the children, and this is not a family friendly show. Just so you know, in case you've been watching football for any point in your entire life, they're grown men running full speed into each other. It's the most violent game on earth. So just stop with the children. Just please stop. Okay, you feel like Lawrence Taylor's family friendly? I'll leave it there. So, I just don't want to hear about it. If it's not my responsibility to raise your children, I'm gonna need you to run me that. You're gonna have to run me that money. You have to run me that check, okay? Because daycare is not free. So run me that check, please. I'll send you the address. Sign it. Thank you, and I'll then be prepared to raise your children. Ramona and Shakira are not required to raise your children. It's fine. And also it's this football purist thing where it's since when did football become about dancing? Just so you know, it's a television show. What you're actually watching is a television show. The reason why the NFL is as big as it is because it's a television show. Fox, we do events. Fox, we do football. Mm-hmm. Fox, we do live stuff, and we do it the best. So that's why it looked like that. You're not gonna get this anywhere else. This is not for everybody. Okay. Ooh. And it's an event. The Super Bowl is an event. It's not just a game. It's a whole week-long production thing. And that's why networks do the best to immerse you into the experience with the pregame shows and sending us out to Miami or Minneapolis or wherever the Super Bowl is. So it just missed me with all that. Squares. What's next?
I second that. So the Fast 9 trailer dropped. It's going to be out May 22nd, 2020. What do you think?
What do you mean what I think? I love it. I'm going to see every second of it.
Oh, gosh.
It's going to be entertaining. The cars flipping in the fire. And look at the thing. And then Ludacris is there, and Tyrese, and Vin Diesel, and Charlize, and, Michelle. It's going to be amazing. Look at the car. Look. Yeah, and they're gonna live.
You know, they first of all, they lost me when they brought Han back. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Han died. I saw with my own eyeballs, and the fact that he's back, I just feel like it's trash.
I
Like,
mean, that's what they do. Like, they just bring people back.
So he came back from the dead?
Yeah. Why not? Look at that. Why not? Why can't someone live through that?
I feel like
I mean, someone's gonna be under that truck and live.
I feel like that this whole trailer just told me what happens in the movie.
Yeah, we know everything. Everything we know is gonna be cars, Fast 9. You know, there's gonna be 9 fast cars. They're gonna like steal a spaceship next. You know, I think they did that already, didn't they? They stole a spaceship, right? And that was Charlize Theron's in a spaceship. Are they in space? I don't know. But anyway, the point is, like, I'm totally gonna. Of course, I'm gonna see this movie, and I'm gonna be entertained because this is like, to me, Fast and Furious has passed over into like Mission Impossible. It's like Colin loves Mission Impossible, and I'm like, okay, but it can't be the best movie you've ever seen. Like, we know what's gonna happen. Tom Cruise is gonna get in a pickle, and he's gonna save the world. Like, this is what happens. There's gonna be a bunch of fast cars and a nuclear power plant or something. And, you know, John Cena with his muscles. And Tyrese's going to have a really funny line.
They're going to talk about family a lot.
Lots of family. Lots of mentions of family. We are a family. We are all a Fast and Furious family. And there's going to be 10,000 of these movies. They're never going to stop. And I'm here for it. It's become the new Bond.
You know,
except for with the same people every time.
I'm glad that some people are going to be watching it.
So you're not excited, but T is not excited about this. I mean, here's the thing. With these movies, I'm not looking to be enriched, okay? I'm not looking to be elevated. It's just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go. I'm just going to be entertained. I'm going to have no expectations. And I'm sure, and I love Charlize Theron, so I'm just,
I do too.
You know.
She's a baddie.
She is a baddie. I love you, Charlize. Please marry me. All right, what's next?
All right, so Joaquin Phoenix won leading actor for Joker at the BAFTA Awards. So he got on stage and gave a very, very impactful speech. What did you think about that?
I love Joaquin Phoenix and I love his speeches. I wish they'd keep giving him awards so he can keep giving speeches because he's so funny. And he always has like a new charming approach at every speech. Mm-hmm. So I love the speech that he gave. I forget which award. There's so many award shows. Whatever the one was where he like spent the whole speech talking about how great everyone else was that was nominated. It was so cute. He's talking about like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and Adam Driver and Christian Bale, and like it's just like he just spent the whole speech talking about everyone else, which was cute. And now this speech was very actually I feel like this was one of the more impactful speeches that's maybe ever been given at an award show because not only was he not I don't think this is a very loose award show, and he just came with it like all y'all the problem and myself included. We're all gonna fix this problem together, or I'm just gonna do it myself. And this is the reality. And listen, when you start talking about systematic racism, you're probably not coming back with any giggles, as you shouldn't be. But like that room was not prepared to hear that term
for sure,
in that speech. So I commend him for saying it. Also, I don't think that like anyone being critical of him, he was very, very clear to say that he feels like he is part of not the problem, but like he has benefited from the system and he recognizes his privilege. And look, if you do want to make a change in the world, you have to first recognize what the problem is and how you contribute or can contribute to, fixing it. And if you're benefiting from it, then you need to make those changes. Like you need to make an effort to make space for other people. So I thought it was a very impactful speech. I think he continues to impress people. I thought he did an amazing job in the Joker. Overall, we know how I feel about the movie, but he did do an amazing job in the Joker, and he's probably going to win the Oscar.
Yeah,
I think that's what this is leading to.
I think what he did was very brave. I love how he used how he used the platform to speak on this. But a lot of people were saying that he would have had a bigger impact if he would have not accepted the award. How do you feel about that?
I feel like everybody has to have an opinion about everything, and it's kind of exhausting. Like he did what he did, and we're talking about it, and he made people uncomfortable, and that's the first step in making change. You can't be what do you want? Like, do you want people to care and want to make a change, or like do you have to like sit down and like go over a game plan for like what's the most impactful thing? Like, so what's he supposed to sit in his seat, be like, I'm not accepting it because of systematic racism, and everyone's gonna be like, okay. Like he get up there and say something. Like he did exactly what he should have done.
I agree.
Like stop being overly critical of everything that everybody does. You want people to make change. You want people to be woke. Don't be critical of how they then do the best that they can. that fair?
Yeah, I agree.
This is too much. All right, thanks for joining us today on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Thank you to Uncle Jimmy for stopping by. He was great. We talked about Doritos at the beginning of the show because their marketing campaign worked, and I bought some Doritos yesterday because I love Lil Nas X, and Cool Ranch Doritos are delicious. I got the nacho ones because we didn't have Cool Ranch, but yesterday, so I travel a lot. And my go-to, I'm a very routine person. So like when I get to the airport, the first thing I buy is fruit snacks, a giant bottle of water, hopefully not Dasani. But I will take it because I like the screw off top more than the smart water squeezy thing. So there's a whole strategy to it. But Evian is my go-to though. And then I get a delicious bag or box of Cheez-Its, whichever is available. My preference is white cheddar. But Cheez-Its are the ultimate snack. And I spent about 5 minutes with my girlfriends on group chat talking about Cheez-Its because I left my precious bag of Cheez-Its at my friend Kelly's house.
Big win for Kelly.
Rushing out. Huge win for Kelly, as she mentioned to me, which is how we started talking about Cheez-Its, because she was like, just so you know, I'm eating your Cheez-Its right now. Last night I was eating them in the dark. And I was like, oh, that sweet bag of Cheez-Its. It's kept me alive all week. In my hotel room because it's the perfect snack. I mean, it's great. It's cheese, it's crunchy. Each bite has the same amount of flavor, and they don't go stale. It's perfect. And the little bags they come with have the resealable bags. It's just the perfect snack, especially for traveling. So anyway, we spent about 5 minutes discussing our love of Cheetos and our different flavors of Cheez-It. Not Cheetos, Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
So that is my travel routine. Are you a big Cheez-It fan?
I like Cheez-Its. The white cheddar move is strong. I'm trying to find these ones. There's a specific kind of extra toasty. Have you had an extra toasty one
I have
yet?
had extra toasty Cheez-Its. Strong.
Real nice.
John Hill, Cheez-Its
Hill's
fan?
got something here.
Top 5 snack?
Top 5 snack. Easy. Maybe top 3. Maybe 1.
I mean, it is like they're just really strong. Like they're just a strong, solid, consistent snack. They're filling, but not in a way that makes you feel like you should have guilt about it. They're just a really good snack. I don't know why I'm doing this huge advertisement for Cheez-Its, but it was an organic transition from the Doritos.
And you like those more than goldfish?
Yes. Yes.
I think I was raised on goldfish. I think I'm more of the fishes because they're so delicious.
The fishes are delicious, but the Cheez-Its have more flavor. More flavor packed into that tiny little delicious square.
It's a lot of flavor in that.
A lot of
delicious
flavor.
square, yeah.
Anyway, it's more about my travel routine, but they did get me through the week in Miami because it's just a great snack. And congratulations, Kelly, for getting my leftover bag.
Yeah, sponsor us, Cheez-Its.
For real, I mean,
You heard what Joy just said. Like,
a
what
lot
else
of
you
Cheez-It
need?
stock.
That's
Anyway,
a box right there.
Thanks for joining us this week. Thank you for riding out with us all NFL season. It was a great season. XFL Saturday. Joel Klatt, I'm very excited for him. That's going to be really fun. I'm honestly, genuinely, I know we have it on our network, but I'm really excited to check out the XFL. I think it's awesome, and I really hope it works because it's more jobs.
Yep.
And
Klatt's a great
I like any leader, I'm here for more jobs.
Are you running for president, Joy?
I'm considering it. I've actually mentioned it several times to several people throughout the past couple weeks, and they think it's a good idea. I do not think it's a good idea for me to run for president. I do not think I would make a good president.
I think if the Dems blow it in 2020, 2024, Joy
I don't
Taylor.
think I'm old enough. Don't you have to be old?
35.
Oh, I'll be old enough, yeah. I'm very close to 35. That's sad. I'm old enough to run for president. I will not. I mean, it's just like I went through that journey right there in that moment. Realizing how old I am. Yeah. I would not make a good president. I'm not a politician. There's a lot of reading. I mean, look, like Trump is not a politician.
You could ask for
Also not doing a great
PowerPoints,
job.
Joy. They would gladly, at this point.
PowerPoints?
They
Doesn't he do everything with the Sharpie? I just
Yeah.
imagine him like law. Law. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not running for president. Don't worry. Kanye is though. Anyway, thanks
Please
for joining us.
don't do that.
We'll catch you next week. Make sure you follow us at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod on all our social media pages. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We're on Spotify, iHeartMedia app, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And we'll catch you next week.
Kanye, please don't run for president.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.